I see the political, this week, today, the UN Commission of Inquiry released its report on Aleppo, the fall of Aleppo, the so-called evacuation of Aleppo, which it concluded after thorough investigation and documentation was the evacuation itself was a crime against humanity and a war crime because the actual legal term for what happened was a forced displacement. The fact is, and this is not a condemnation of that, they've done extraordinary work and they take the time to do what they need to do in the time to the level of evidence that they require. But other parts of the UN, the UN Security Council, this fact that it was a forced displacement was obvious in real time. There's no question what was happening. There were clear reports, credible reports from the UN of executions of people who were trying to leave. There were months in which the Russians and Syrians were dropping leaflets in the area saying, if you don't leave, then we will annihilate you. That fits the definition in the Rome Statute, the International Criminal Court's founding document of what a forced displacement is. So as it was happening, however, the UN Security Council effectively endorsed the Russian and Syrian war crime of forced displacement by calling it an evacuation and then unanimously approving a resolution that not only referred to it as evacuation, but stressed all kinds of facets that were totally out of touch with reality, saying, it's important that it be safe and voluntary for the civilians. All that to say, there's a widening gap between reality that's directly before us and the necessary moral actions required to address those as gravely and to the level of truth that they need to be addressed. And I think that that's growing. And every failure in Syria contributes to the inability of these institutions to represent their fundamental founding principles and creates an environment in which future war crimes can be perpetrated with impunity all over the world, creates a gap in credibility of the institutions that we claim to support, which then can be exploited by not just Russia and Syria, but by the United States. And I think that all of the problems, I don't think that I'm articulating this very clearly, but I worry that when the fundamental institutions crumble by way of obstruction, then we have not only no accountability but no credibility, and that this will have severe ramifications in other places.